Hi, welcome to my tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about configuring static routing in Cisco CCNA. I decided to make this video for my own reference and because when I was trying to learn static routing, I was looking for some videos on YouTube. Um, I couldn't find a good video with a good explanation. So therefore I decided to make a video. Uh, this could help someone out there. So I'm going to talk about configuring static routing. For as a network administrator, configuring the network routers manually instead of using routing protocols like RIP or OSPF, which is used in dynamic routing. The benefit of static routing is minimum bandwidth usage, no overhead on router CPU usage. And it's used for a small network with few routers, but if it's not, static routing is not without cost. It's difficult to configure all routers manually in a large network, and troubleshooting is always harder than configuration. So for today's tutorial, I'm gonna use Cisco's packet tracer. I've already set up created a network here, a network topology I put together. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this, and so let's go ahead and start. So what I have done is that I have created a five network, or rather five routers. It is quite a complex network for static, but just for the purpose of this lab, I put a five router together so we get a good understanding of static routing and routing table on this tutorial. All right, so let's go ahead. So I'm just gonna go ahead. One router I'm gonna set up from scratch. These ones are already set it up, as in I have put in the IP addresses to speed up time for the sake of this video. So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna do one router over here. So I'm gonna connect this and just gonna read it. Okay, it's rebooting. Just give it a second. So I'm just gonna connect the cables while it's booting up. And usually, well, it's actually connecting router to router is use cross cable. So we're gonna use the cross cable. You can also use console cable. That's fine too. But we're just gonna use cross cable, and from the router, the switch is gonna be the straight through cable. There we go. I've already set up the IP addresses to save time. I'm just gonna go ahead and set up this host, the IP address for this host. So it's gonna be the 190.1.2, followed by the subnet mask and the default gateway, which is going to be same as the router IP address. So let's go ahead and set up the IP address for the router. In Cisco, it's all through iOS commands. There's no GUI interface that you can use. And when you buy a Cisco switch or a Cisco router, there's no setup, there's no DNS, there's no DHCP, there's no IP addresses. So you all have to do this using the iOS command. All right, so we're gonna give the fast Ethernet 1/0 IP address, which is this, and for the F/0/0, this IP address that I have assigned over here. So we're gonna go ahead and get into privilege mode, get into the global configuration mode, and we're gonna do interface FA1/0, which we're trying to get in over here. So we're in. Now we're gonna give it the IP address, which is gonna be the 190.168.1.1 followed by the subnet mask. We're gonna enable the fast internet port over there by putting the command no shot. And as you're gonna watch over here, it's gonna turn green because we just activated it. As it says over here, the line protocol and interface fast internet 1/vendor change state is 2 up. We're gonna continue the same thing for the FA0/0 interface. Give it the IP address 0 followed by the subnet mask and the no shot command. As you can see, they're all in green now. We're gonna save the settings. So we're done giving the IP address, and are we able to send packets across the network? I don't know, let's find out. We are able to send locally, that I can tell you, because if we do send like a packet from here, from this PC to this server over here, it is going to be successful because we're able to communicate locally. Across the network, no, we cannot, because the reason is we have not set up the routing table for all these routers over here. And that is the objective for today's tutorial that I'm doing on how to set up the routing tables. So for packets to be sent from one host to another host, and getting the receiving and acknowledging receiving of the packet. Alright, so let's jump into that. So I am gonna do this. The one router manually, then I have to put in the other ones that I have configured them before. I have to copy and paste the commands to speed up time, as it's gonna take a while if I do them all one by one. All right, so if we do, so currently there's absolutely no routing table set up. So we're gonna get into global configuration mode, IP route. Now, in order for this router to send packet to this network over here, you have to put in the IP address of this network over here with a 0, representing the hosts. And you're gonna put the next hop, which is the next hop. Where is the packet going from this router? So the next hop from this router, the packet is gonna travel to is gonna be this port over here on this router, which is the IP address is gonna be, which is right here. So how are we gonna put this on the iOS command over here? It's gonna be IP route 192.168.1.0 followed by the subnet mask, followed by the next hop. So let's recap. 192.168.0, which is this network over here. However, we're putting 0 for the network, followed by the subnet mask of that network, followed by the next hop, which is this right here. So we are in this router over here. We're in this iOS line interface. We're trying to add the networks. So we are inputting this network over here. So we put in the IP address, followed by the next hop. And we're gonna do this for all of these, for this one, for this one, for this one. So let's continue this. Enter IP route. I'm gonna put the 200 now. Dot 1. Dot 0. Followed by the subnet mask. Followed by the next. And we're gonna do the 195. 1.0. And the I can find the for the FA 198, so which is this right here for that. So we're gonna put that over here. 198. That's 0. So we have successfully inputted all the networks, the routing table for all of them, for this router only, for this router. So we can get out of this and save the settings. We can double check this just to make sure that we have everything. So if we do show running, as you can see, the IP classes for the routing table are all inputted. Now we have to do the same thing for all these other routers. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, I am going to speed this up. So I have already inputted the configuration. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly apply them. Okay, so I've completed inputting all the protocols for the routing table on all the routers. So now we should be able to send packets successfully across the network. So let's go ahead and give that a try. So if I go ahead and send a packet from this network to here, it is successful. The other way around, successful, perfect. And if we send from here to here, great, perfect. Let's do this in real time. So if I send a message from this server over here to this host or to this server over here, let's take a look at that in action. The packet gets sent to that router and it sends back the acknowledgement of receiving it back to that server. Routers forward packets using either route information from the route table entries that you manually configure or the route information that is calculated using the dynamic routing algorithm. Once again, you should use static routes in an environment where network traffic is predictable and where the network design is simple. You should not use static routes in a large, constantly changing network because the static routes cannot react to network changes. Most network uses dynamic routes to communicate between the routers, but you might have one or two static routes configured for special cases. Static routes are also useful for specifying like gateway of last resort, like a default router to which all unroutable packets are sent. So that's pretty much it for the static routing. I have set up a another that I was working on, more simple network. that I'm gonna. This is like my own self-made notes that I was doing earlier today. Um, Actually, this is more like without the notes. Hang on, let me pull up the details. So this is the same concept that we were doing on the other one, on the other topology there. Once again, as you can see here, I have put in the dashes or the lines here, representing like if you are in this router over here, the router 0, configuring IP route from router 0, putting the network address of the IP route, which is 190.1.1.0, which is this network over here. You're trying to access this network with the followed by the subnet mask, and you put in the next hop, which is the 191.168.1.3, which is this right here. From this router, the next hop is this. You're putting the network address or IP address of this network over here on this router with a 0 representing of number of the hosts. Same thing over here for this configuring the routing table for this router over here. You're putting this network address with a 0 followed by the subnet mask followed by the next hop, which is this. From this route, going from this router, in order for this router to get to this network over here, it has to hop from here. The first hop is this, the 195.168.1.2, and in order for this router to access this network over here, you're gonna put in this IP address of this network with a 0 followed by the subnet mask and the next hop, which is this. Same concept for this router as well. If you have to send message across the network, the first time it fails because you have to wake up the network, but they do work. I guarantee you that. As you can see. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching videos. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.